This video is going to be about trying to exploit the Pokemon Sun and Moon demo to get it to do things that it doesn't want to do, because as many of you guys know, this demo is locked down. It is unfun in a lot of different ways, that we only get like 2, maybe 3-ish mini quests depending on how you look at it, and then after that you don't get to keep any Pokemon, Greninja doesn't level up, and it's not that crazy. Actually, I just got super lucky right now though, because what I'm trying to do is catch a Rockruff, because I will make this game give up its secrets. I want to get as much experience as possible, because another problem is, okay, not only does Greninja not gain experience, but the wild Pokemon do gain experience, which means that we can level them. However, when you level them, you don't get to find out any evolution. So Pikipek doesn't evolve, Young Goose doesn't evolve, even with the evolution, but Rockruff is an interesting kind of Pokemon to talk about because it does have the highest kill potential. And look at this guy. This guy's also pretty unfun, that he doesn't let you keep any of the Pokemon that you capture, which makes a really big problem for level 100 the Dream. So I'm going to use my Super Potion on the Rockruff I just caught. Also, probably would have been better to use a Heal Ball, but this is just more of like an experiment on how much experience we can actually get in the game, because when you think about level 100 the Dream, the Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire demo was absolutely easy to grind. That you had a high level Glalie that you could pretty much KO easily, and then Swampert got to keep its level. Swampert gained experience. You could get a level 100 Pokemon in the Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire demo, and that's actually what I did right here. And this was a very fun thing. This is what I wanted to do with Pokemon Sun and Moon, but with Greninja not gaining experience, and then the biggest problem of the Pokemon catching contest, or like what this guy does over here, is that there's no way of restoring your Pokemon. I even tried blacking out. You know, it's hard to make your Greninja faint because you have to use double team, so it makes it harder for the opponent to hit you, and then you just take less and less damage because you're over leveled compared to these guys. So by comparison, it was pretty hard. I even blacked out. I woke up in the Pokemon Center, and the dude took all my Pokemon. So it's not like you have any way of smuggling out Pokemon. It's not like you have any way of restoring PP. So even once you use a Pokemon and knock out as many opponents' Pokemon as possible, your experience dries up, that you can't do anything else. But then you can go and catch other wild Pokemon. So it's all about that optimization. But compared to Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, it was super easy. That Steven, he did everything for you. Oh, you black out? No, you didn't. Steven just comes in and turns into a Pokemon Center. You can talk to him to heal up your Pokemon if you're having troubles. He just lets you encounter this Glalie over and over again. So after, let's see, how long was it? It was like thousands of Glalies, you know, over 1,000 Glalies KO'd, 14-hour stream, 16 hours of constant gameplay, and I had a level 100 Pokemon that immediately got reset into Oblivion, and it would effectively have been the same thing with the demo Pokemon right here, because, okay, I don't get to keep them, but it's just cool saying you had a level 100 Pokemon. But now let's go and try to explore the highest experience, because everything starts getting very precise, but also risky at the same time. Now, the reason why I chose Rockruff is because it has really solid stats, but it can howl. So what you want Rockruff to do is, if I can move these Pokemon around, so what you want Rockruff to do is howl and then use a move, and then it just one-shots the opponent, or it will do insane amounts of damage. So that's how you're going to get your initial level up. And against Pikipek, Rock Throw, that's just a super effective stab, instant KO of shenanigans. So what do we have? We have another Rockruff. That's actually going to be a kind of bad one. I haven't done any of the damage checks against another Rockruff, but I want to see how much like a howl into a bite will do. Fortunately, I did catch a level 34 Rockruff, and the opponents, like the other Pokemon that you're facing, they don't have the most insane AI, so they're not going to try to damage you, but you need to keep your Rockruff safe, which is why using a Heal Ball probably would have been better. I just wanted to make sure I caught the level 34 one. But Heal Ball into Super Potion means you would have some extra opportunities to not faint. So if I howl into Bite right here, how much experience am I going to get, and how much damage am I going to do is the big question. Now this is where, oh yeah, so that's not enough to KO, which means for the most optimal, you would probably have to like KO just straight Pikipeks for 15 battles, get an extra level, make sure you only encounter like lower Rockruffs, or just run away from Rockruff in general, because Young Goose does have less defense, and I think maybe even less hit points. So Howl into Bite from a level 35 or 36 Rockruff would be better, but then you only gain 335 experience. Now, from what I saw in the demo, I actually gained over 600 experience off of Pikachu, so maybe not even fighting any Rockruff is exactly what you want to do here. But even then, we're still capped in some kind of way. Also, Pikipek is probably pretty bad experience as well, which means Pikachus are rare, so you have to get a Pikachu in the first part of your slot. That way you have Static, which will attract more Pikachus, but you have to cause your Pikachu to faint. Yeah, this is kind of like how crazy this ends up getting. So once your Pikachu faints, then you can put Rockruff in the first spot, and then what you could also do, wow, that did a lot of damage for a not very effective move, is then use that, use Greninja. So you bring in Rockruff, you switch out to Greninja, Greninja scores a KO, gives you shared experience, and it's only 361 right there. So yeah, you need to pretty much get that Pikachu early if you want the most experience, or else it's really pitiful. So after doing all the math and stuff, Rockruff effectively can maybe have 30-ish KOs, because you're going to catch a new Rockruff, but that thing is going to be underleveled, and you also have to do manage your PP, that way you can still catch an opposing Rockruff and not be super overleveled by comparison, which is why you need like a level 32 Rockruff to get the Greninja, to use Night Slash to not KO it, to then catch it, and then try to go for the experience from there. And I'm trying to actually see how the... Wow, I can't even get away from this Pick-a-Peck. Actually, okay, let's go and see how much shared experience, because most of the battles are also going to be shared experience. That Rockruff is going to get about 40 KOs at 300 to 600 experience, depending on what you're fighting. Like, Pikachu is rare, but I guess you can get that Pikachu snowball going pretty... Oh, I don't want to fight. I'm trying to get used to the new layout as well. So if we switch over to Greninja, how does the experience split work? So it's 50-50, that's going to be pretty bad. And then shows, like, the experience rate calculation is going to be so skewed and terrible. Because, yeah, I believe if I go and bring this up really quick, after I KO'd a Pikachu, I got like 700 experience points. So it seems like Pikachu is the one. Also, I've got a mad creeping face right there. But Pikachu is the one that you want to use for the experience farming. And even then, switching into Pokemon is dangerous. So the odds of like surviving long enough to get the optimal 400 or actually 800 or so moves to be properly used, it's just not going to happen. And even then, Greninja only has guaranteed KOs on the Night Slash. So after doing the math, you know, Rockruff has about 40 KOs. You catch 20 Rockruffs, that's 800. Greninja has kill potential of about 30 to 40-ish on top of like using its moves and stacking it. But then after catching the other 20 Pokemon, we'll just round it to about 30. So we get about 830 goes. Also, I wasn't paying attention to the experience right there because I'm really bad at this game. So we get about 830 attempts at KOing Pokemon, but then we have to worry about switching. We have to worry about not fainting, anything like that. So here's our Pikachu, and then that's also going to take up vital moves and experience because, all right, we have to use the bite to try to get this thing low enough, but then Pikachu also becomes a problem to KO. Since we are going to be facing primarily Pikachu to knock out, it can use Play Nice, which lowers our attack, which means we're actually going to have less kill pressure on the Pikachu, even after we catch it, if we want the most optimal experience rates. So that just kind of shows another problem with doing this, and I think the biggest problem is like, okay, if we had infinite amount of Pokeballs, maybe it would work, and maybe we could get some awesome stuff out of it, but in the end, it just doesn't seem like it will add up properly. So what I want to do is switch over to Greninja, see how much shared experience we can get off of a level 34 Pikachu. Now, like I said, ideally I'd want to catch this, but then that hurts experience rates. I'm not going for this right now. I'm just kind of showing you the most optimal, that way we can calculate experience for the end of this video. So yeah, Pikachu's going to nuzzle, it's going to paralyze us, it's going to do all kinds of really bad things that are just going to, that's one, going to make this take hours, you know, dozens of hours, just to try to expend all the moves in the most efficient way. And then that's more KOs that could potentially happen to us. It is not looking good at all. There's the crit even. Like, our Greninja's going to go down. Then what do? We black out, and then nothing happens. So, while Pikachu faints, and the experience rate on the Pikachu still gives Rockruff 762 experience. So, I guess we could just average it. Like, okay, let's just say 700 experience, fighting only Pikachus, only KOs. So even with the shared experience and everything, now let's just say because of double hitting and not getting perfect optimization, we could probably get about 700 KOs max. So even with the shared experience, we're still doing pretty well. 700 optimal moves, I guess, is the best, even though we have like a kill potential on 840 after catching the Pokemon, after playing around with it, after also like trying to do things. Now Rockruff does have a little bit of an advantage that it can howl. So if you need to, you can like Rock Throw, lower level Pick-a-Pecks, try to grind. Well, actually, no, you can't do Pick-a-Pecks because you need to get the max experience at like all times. So switching into Greninja into Pikachu is pretty difficult. And then I have the last little test right here to do, because I was talking about the whole time, like, oh, if you run out of Pokeballs, if you run out of Pokemon, you only have so many moves you can use. What if I do run out of Pokeballs? Because I haven't tried it. I haven't heard about anyone that has done it. So there goes 20. I doubt he gives us any more, but if he gives us another stack of 20, then that means it is possible. It's just incredibly difficult because we have an infinite cycle of Pokemon. The biggest problem, though, is being limited by our 20 Pokeballs. So there goes our last Pokeball. What happens if we talk to this guy now? Will he just be like, oh, sorry, out of luck, or what? Yeah, he just says to keep going, end it, or whatever. You know, he says keep catching keep catching tons of Pokemon, but he doesn't give us any more balls or anything like that. We're empty. We can't do anything. That is going to be the GG right there. So it's even like, I wonder if Game Freak even thought about this. Like, what happens if people try to work around the system, try to grind around, and then keep their Pokemon healthy? Because as you get a higher level Pokemon, you're going to be doing better. And it also might even be safer to, like, not even use the base moves that you have. Like this Rockruff that I'm trying to level up, maybe I shouldn't even use it ever. I should like start off with Greninja, catch wild Pokemon, use that wild Pokemon to kind of gain the experience and stuff, and then you catch Rockruff, you fight Pikachus, and you try to share the experience that way. That way you finally have like a level 40 or 50 Rockruff that isn't at risk of getting KO'd, and then it can finally like finish off some other Pokemon. So you'll always have a backbone of something, but then it becomes harder and harder. Like if your Greninja faints and you have a level 40, 50 Rockruff, then you don't get a chance to catch any more new Pokemon. So then you're throwing out the Rock Throw and stuff. So that's why I'm saying, best case scenario, 700 experience Pikachus, you get 700 kills on the Pikachu, and oh, Rock Throw can miss. So that's another thing to factor in, like 600 something, you know. Either way, we're getting roughly, let's say, 450,000 experience. But now, that's a pretty hefty chunk of experience, but is it enough? Also, I do want to see something else that we have right here. So we can look at Rockruff, and it does start with a base amount of experience. We can use that for the calculation. So this level 34 Rockruff that I caught starts out with around 40,000 experience, because I've KO'd some Pokemon, caught some Pokemon, so 42,000 experience right now, which means if we go to the EXP level chart, 500,000 is about as high as it's going to go. I'm going to give it the medium fast, because that sounds about right for an early game Pokemon that you'll encounter. Medium fast experience means that around 500,000 experience will be level 79. So best case, most optimal, dozens of hours of grinding will get us a level 79 Pokemon that we can't keep because the guy goes and just releases it right there. So that would be like perfect. Other than that, like optimally, probably get around 50 until you start having severe complications and stuff. But it shows that we cannot, under any circumstance, get a level 100 Pokemon, even with all the grinding, even with everything like that. And that's kind of all there is to it. That when we look back at level 100, the Dream, no, that's Swampert, 960 experience points, back to back to back on easy Glalie KOs, because, okay, once you get about level 70, you can just stab everything, and then Glalie died pretty much instantly. With this, you're encountering different Pokemon, so you'd have to find different stuff, you'd have to keep resetting. It's like, okay, I didn't find the right Pikachu, I can't KO this Pokemon, and then if you can't escape, you take free damage, so big issues right there, and unfortunately, level 100 the Dream is dead. And the rest of the gameplay isn't even here for the Pokemon Sun and Moon demo. Like, there were all those countdowns, like, meet me in a couple days, meet me in a couple days. Doesn't really have anything. Like, I thought there was going to be extra mini quests, maybe more exploits, but it's like, oh, thanks for talking to me on this exact day. Here's an item. Bye forever. Or you just get to see like a Alolan Dugtrio and you get to trigger some kind of event and stuff. So it wasn't really too exciting of the demo. Like, the demo started off cool and then it just like abruptly ended and you get a couple of extra little items, but it's nothing. It's not like the Omega Green Alpha Sapphire. You don't get as much like extended gameplay, and you can't really break it. So I tried, I used the recommendations that people had, and it just wasn't there. So if you guys enjoyed the video, hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.